You're watching Durango News, celebrating Southwest Colorado every day.
Durango City Council candidates weigh in on the airport expansion, steam park, and affordable housing, and their answers may surprise you.
Residents accuse coal trucks of disturbing the peace on County Road 120.
And find out how you can qualify for discounts to buy a house in Durango.
I'm Ashley Dixon.
And I'm Jordan Alexander with sports.
This program is brought to you by Stone Age Tools, named a best place to work by Outside Magazine.
Thanks for watching Durango News. I'm Ashley Dixon. 4 candidates have filed to run for 2 open seats during this April's City Council election. Incumbents Sweetie Marbury and Dick White are running for re-election. Their challengers are Durango landscape architect Dave McHenry and retired financial advisor Sean Waddell. Durango News producer Debia Urota recently conducted in-studio interviews with the candidates to learn more about their stances on issues like expanding the sewer plant, the airport, the steam park project, and attainable housing. This week, we visit with Sweetie Marbury and Dave McHenry. Sweetie Marbury is a 41-year resident of Durango. A retired high school teacher and grandmother, Marbury says she's running for re-election because she likes to learn and listen, and she has a love for Durango that can bring a tear to her eye. She calls herself an advocate for long-term residents, and she often finds herself in the minority on issues that will impact taxpayers' pocketbooks. She voted against charging a fee for the trolley, voted for stricter limits on vacation rentals in town, and is a vocal advocate against building a new airport.
You know, I came to Durango when I was 27, and I poured coffee at the Holiday Inn and had roommates, just like other kids did in Durango. And we skied and we really loved the town, and a lot of us stayed. And then I married and became a homeowner. I raised my son here. My son lives just down the street from me with his children. And so I feel like I've grown up with Durango. And when you grow up with Durango, your heart's there. Brookside Park, for example, the trolley, for example. All of these are issues that are near and dear to me, as well as being able to afford to live here. So it doesn't matter what age you are or what stage in life you are, that you live here, you might work one job. My son works 2 jobs, for example, and that builds diversity in the community. And so I think I've been in all of those roles and stages. I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm still in Durango, and I love Durango.
This summer, city residents will be asked to approve a $55 million bond to expand the sewer plant at Santa Rita Park. The upgrades are needed to reduce effluents flowing into the Animas River to comply with Colorado Department of Health standards. The improvements will be paid by an increase in sewer fees. With major improvements planned, the city also has an opportunity to relocate the sewer plant to the south, as was proposed 25 years ago when the plant was built. Detractors then said the treatment plant shouldn't be located at the gateway to Durango. Marbury, however, supports leaving the plant where it is. She says moving the plant would cost twice as much as the proposed on-site expansion plan. Marbury also opposes building a new airport on the east side of the runway, the current preferred alternative for expanding services.
Yes, I do see we have problems at the airport. There are 3 things I think that the city and county can do better. One, I love to see opening up TSA. Okay, we need more space there. And we would remove, if I was designing it, we would remove the gift shop and the restaurant and push everything beyond security. We need another luggage carrier. And down where US Air and Americans, there's a spot right there, and that was always meant to be the next building, to add on another luggage carrier to clean up the infrastructure behind the counters. If you took the tour on where your bags go, there's some real needs back there for the employees, for the airport personnel, and actually moving. The third issue that I'm really keen on is parking, improving parking at the airport. Now, this is just my opinion. You know, take a cup of coffee with it, ask somebody else. But I think that remodeling could be done with much less than $45 million.
Marbury says she supports the steam park project, but doesn't believe that the proposed location on the Animas River is the best place for its construction.
I don't have any crystal balls. I don't think that's probably the best location just because of parking issues And because we, as the city councilor, this is my responsibility. We have the fire department down there, and we also have the city planning staff down there. And so in the best of all worlds, there would be enough money to create maybe a new place for all of them to go, but that's yet to be determined, and I don't have any crystal balls.
During the next few years, the City Council and the Planning Department will be reviewing city regulations to determine how much more housing can be built in the area. Marbury says construction at Three Springs should provide additional housing stock for sale, and new regulations for accessory dwelling units will allow higher densities in the older parts of Durango. Marbury said she also looks forward to planning for new commercial and residential development along North Main Avenue. Challenger Dave McHenry is a 37-year resident of Durango who's been in the news in the past year as a spokesman for the Citizens for Healthy Established Neighborhoods. Citizens is an advocacy group that lobbied City Council for limits on accessory dwelling units, vacation rentals, and marijuana shops in mixed-use neighborhoods. McHenry says he's running for council because he wants to protect long-term existing neighborhoods.
We feel that in the city of Durango recently, in the last few years, that the residential neighborhoods are being somewhat sacrificed to commercial development, vacation rentals. They're being impacted by five-story hotels, creeping commercialism like retail marijuana in mixed-use neighborhoods, increased density, for instance, accessory dwelling units. And we feel like maybe the neighbors that have lived in neighborhoods don't have a strong voice in the city planning process.
McHenry and his wife Kathy have lived in their home in Old Animas City for 30 years. He worked as a landscape architect for Fort Lewis College for 15 years and now works part-time for a local planning firm. McHenry says Durango will need to set priorities and make some choices in the years ahead.
One of the terms I always liked was, in the Army, you get a choice. Nobody has unlimited funds to do every project that everybody wants to do. And in the military, it's called guns and butter. And with guns and butter, you have to balance feeding the military versus the amount of ammunition that they have available to fight the fight. Nobody gets all of everything that they want. So what we need to do is learn to live within our budget so that people can afford to live here and prioritize what we want. And we're not all going to be able to get everything that we could hope for on our wish list.
McHenry says that he would entertain moving the sewage treatment plant south of town rather than expanding on site. And he supports building a new airport terminal east of the runway because of the difficulties with remodeling a facility of that size.
The example I like to give is there's a reason that they quit remodeling Mercy Hospital on the site where it used to be located. It just wasn't practical anymore. My understanding after going to the airport presentation was that this would be a one-time bond issue for the building, and that for the next two future expansions that they feel like they might need, that it would be able to be funded from fees and grants that are available to the airport. So there's a lot of benefit to being able to build a new structure and then move in when it's ready and repurpose the old structure.
McHenry says he likes the concept of the Steam Park Cultural Project, but it may not be suited for the proposed location next to the Powerhouse Science Center. He says it's too expensive to move River City Hall and the fire department. McHenry remains consistent in his stance to protect existing neighborhoods and says he supports higher density developments in outlying subdivisions like Three Springs or Twin Buttes.
Not everybody's going to be able to live within walking distance of downtown in Durango. To my mind, Three Springs is on track to provide that kind of housing.
McHenry also says he supports redevelopment of North Main Avenue as long as it doesn't impact adjacent neighborhoods. City voters should receive their ballots in the mail beginning March 15th. Deadline to mail in the ballots back to City Hall is Tuesday, April 7th. Next week, we'll summarize our interviews with candidates Dick White and Sean Waddell. After the break, find out why County Road 120 residents want coal transportation trucks rerouted.